Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my guide to Bardam's Mettle, a level 65 dungeon accessed through the Stormblood 4.0 main scenario quests. This dungeon rewards item level 276 weapons, armor, and accessories, including one free item specifically for your current job upon completion. The final boss also has a chance at dropping a minion. This dungeon is broken up into several trash bowls, some environmental hazards, and 3 bosses. To skip to a specific boss, please check the description of the video for time skips. Now, as a warning, Bardam's Mettle is probably the first dungeon you'll do so far where enemies will start mowing down tanks if they do big pulls, even in item level 270 gear, so play a bit more cautious here if playing with a group of strangers, and make sure everyone is comfortable with the size of the pulls. Other than that, the mobs are fairly standard, though be careful of the frequent spells coming out of the chutes and the walls, plus the cleaves that come out of some of the other mobs. The damage from these adds up fast. Clear the second set of walls, which contains 3 of them, and move on to the first boss. The first boss of this dungeon is Galura. It is a conal AoE, as well as a skill called Crumbling Crust, which drops several small but quick AoE markers that do moderate damage right next to him. Being far away or really close to the hitbox makes dodging these very easy. The major mechanic of this fight is Rush. This attack deals less damage the farther away you are from the boss, so try to move as far away as possible. When the boss reaches the target location after casting Rush, he will roar and rile up all the nearby animals that are scattered around the 4 sides of the arena. Whichever are the closest to him will be aggravated before performing an attack, depending on which animal you've woken up. Lambs run up to the players and do circular AoEs, rams do giant line AoEs, and coeurls do giant conal AoEs that paralyze. The boss will stun everyone as the mobs prepare their AoEs, so just move out of them once the stun wears off and it shouldn't be too bad. Repeat this until the boss is dead. The second set of trash won't spawn until you walk up to one of the rocks in the distance, and this just contains some Dara mobs that auto attack but do cast a hard hitting stone too. After that, you'll have a few flying mobs, more Dara, and a rock behemoth, all of which hit hard but don't do anything special. Clean them out before taking on the second boss. The second boss is Bardam himself, but unlike most fights in the game, you can't actually attack or use any abilities here other than sprint. Bardam will initiate 3 trials in which your goal is to simply perform all the mechanics he throws at you, mostly dodging AoEs. If a player is hit by 2 mechanics in a trial, they fail said trial and become stunned until the rest of the players either succeed or fail as well. The only way to lose the encounter altogether is for all 4 players to fail the same trial, so this fight's pretty easy. Each player is to take one of the 4 marked quadrants to ensure they can more safely dodge some of the attacks. Trial number 1 spawns a golem in the middle of the room, which pulls everyone in, does a circular AoE, then a donut AoE, while charging up a gaze attack, so make sure you're looking away from him during all of this. Then the boss does several cross AoEs, and then the gaze attack again. Trial number 2 starts off with 3 tower AoEs, which at least 1 player should stand in each. After that, everyone run to the middle of the room to dodge the player-oriented donut AoEs before finally returning to your quadrants and just running in circles, dodging the AoE circles following each player. Dodge the 270-degree golem AoE that comes afterwards, and the 4 meteor landings, and you're on to Trial 3. Trial number 3 starts by turning the east and west meteors that just spawned in Trial 2 into golems that do those 270-degree conal AoEs again, while the middle golem pulls everyone in and does the same AoEs from Trial number 1. I just stand right under the east or west golem and adjust slightly to the other AoEs, and that pretty much handles the phase. If you need to get hit by one just to avoid getting hit by all of them at once, feel free to just take a single hit. You only fail the trial if you get hit by 2 mechanics here. Before the meteor strikes in the center of the room, you'll finally want to hide behind one of the remaining meteors, which will either be north or south, and bam, you're done. Trash leading up to boss number 3 has more mobs that don't do anything threatening, just AoEs to dodge. Watch out for those giant metal balls trying to crush you though. I recommend fighting the mobs off to the sides of the main path in order to avoid the balls as they eventually come out. Wrap this up and move on to the final boss. The final boss is Yol, who mostly just does some room-wide AoEs, line AoEs, and spread AoEs that are marked on players. It also has a gaze attack that confuses, so just turn away when you see the gaze attack. After going through a few rotations, Yol summons a corpse cleaner eagle in the northeast side of the arena, which you'll need to kill. Yol's line AoEs will keep spawning, and Yol himself will dash across the arena and do some damage from whichever side of the arena the eagle is closest to at the time. After eagle number 1 dies, eagle number 2 spawns on the southwest side, so just rinse and repeat. At 10%, Yol becomes untargetable and spawns his left and right wing. At this point, AoEs begin rapidly rotating around the outside of the arena, while Yol himself rotates between two mechanics. The first is always a knockback AoE on a marked target. The second is always the same spread out mechanic from the first phase. So just do these back and forth until you kill both wings, in which case Yol will be stunned and you can finish him off in his remaining health. And that's it, dungeon over. Thank you for watching my guide to Bardam's Mettle. Be sure to check out my other dungeon guides on my channel. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. And of course, stay tuned for everything Stormblood. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.